Bush.
I think the thing about it is the Tavares quote that's making the round.
Jonathan, that dude, the most influential person in hockey is whoever did Oshawa General's media training in 2009.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was told, just every time you lose, say lesson. And he's still doing it.
He's saying lesson a lot.
Saying lesson a lot. 15 years later, some odd.
Yeah. John Tavares,
John.
captain of the team. He said, huge lesson early in the tournament. And Leaf fans are taking it predictably well.
What's wrong with the quote? Explain, Steve.
Now I want to do a Google search. I want to find out how many times John Tavares says lesson in a season, because producer Drew is the best. When I shot my video about the Shanahan, Keith Pelly, Brad Treliving press conference, I go, can you do a supercut of every time Keith Pelly mentions he's only been here 4 weeks?
And he'd actually been there 6 weeks.
6 weeks. Yeah, first of all, 4 weeks was wrong. Second of all, he said it like 7 times or something like that. If you were to go through the whole season and just isolate John Tavares saying, well, it was a good lesson. We shouldn't have lost, but we lost. And we're going to take, we're going to take what we learned from that, and we're going to keep that knowledge for the future, and then maybe we can have recess or something.
Jeez. Brutal. Now he
awful.
did score the winner.
He did, and
it was a good goal. And he the one thing I'll say is Islanders getting their first playoff win in I don't know how many decades. Leafs getting their first playoff series win in I don't know how many decades.
And
both
Austria.
of these and Canada beating Austria. Overtime, big time player John Tavares. He has done that. He has a propensity for that.
Yeah, I don't want to be the up my own ass, Canadian about all this. Any Austrian hockey fans listening to this right now, holy shit.
You win.
Holy shit.
Even though you didn't win, you win.
I mean, one team's fan base looked like they won, and the others won.
Right. Canadian fans were not thrilled.
Dude, they blew a 5-goal lead to Austria in the third period. No one saw that coming, including the extremely well-traveled Austrian fans. I know they didn't have to travel far, Prague,
but they always go.
Oh man, they packed the place, and I was trying to explain this to my wife. Like, how many Austrian NHL players are there currently? 3?
There aren't a lot.
4. It's not a ton. On one hand, extremely, extremely good for Austria. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, the quickness with which Canada won the overtime really illustrated how much they should have won that game. Tavares just sort of went, that's enough. Okay, this is nonsense. Let me just win the game. Mm-hmm. And then he simply chose to ice it.
Yeah, looking at the Austrian roster, it's really Marco Rossi. It's like, okay, that's the beginning and end of NHL players. But if we want to go there and look at the roster, but the point I wanted to make was, why isn't Jordan Binnington catching more flack for this?
Oh, he is. Don't you worry.
There were 21 shots on goal, and he allowed 6 goals.
Steven Strong. Go look at his third period, dude. His third period, wasn't it 5 goals on 9 shots?
Yeah. When they had the 6-1 comeback. I feel like I'm not the biggest Jordan Binnington fan, so I will take this opportunity to point out that he had a bad game.
Wait, what was that, Jesse? Sorry, speak up.
What?
How can I make this about the Leafs? Thank you for asking. So the way I can make this about the Leafs is people have been talking about, like, who are they going to go out and get, like, in terms of a bona fide starter. Binnington had a really good season this year. He did. His team didn't do so great, but he had a really good season. He is a very hot and a very cold goalie, prone to absolute implosions. And sometimes I think the narrative about playing in Toronto is overblown. That's a guy I wonder about. Like,
if he could handle playing here.
If you're looking for guys who could handle it here, I don't know. He's got a cup. He's got a cup.
Yes.
Right? How's things been since the cup?
He was a large reason they won that cup.
Right.
Out of nowhere,
Yeah.
stealing the job, and they rode him to the Stanley Cup.
But how have they Binnington since?
Whoa.
Right.
Hey.
You know?
Here's the thing. It's actually been quite some time since St. Louis won the cup. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's been half a decade.
Like, dude, you can ride a cup for forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
Alan Walsh actually brought up a really good point on our last Agent Provocateur. He said there's a team that I think moved on from their core players too quickly and probably should have had at least another 2 cracks at it. And I'm like, are you talking about the St. Louis Blues? And he's like, the St. Louis Blues, absolutely. You think about what happened with Pietrangelo leaving. I think they thought that they could replace his play by committee. And I understand not wanting to commit to him long term because at the end of the deal, blah, blah, blah. But you're good now. And then they had Jesse's favorite goalie, Ville Husso, emerge. And they're locked into Binnington, and they couldn't quite put it all together all at the same time again.
When they won the cup, did they even have Kyrou and Thomas?
I don't think so.
No, they
Man.
emerged after that. With Binnington, where's the conversation about him coming to Toronto? Because he's locked in for 3 more years at $6 million.
A trade.
Oh,
No, like
that's
just,
not. I feel like that's just fans making
Not
big
gonna
trades.
happen.
That's not
it's just,
any kind of actual news.
what I'm doing is going through the list of people where everyone's like, "What about this guy?" And that game made me go, perhaps not.
Right.
Well, that and a variety of other things.
I can't imagine what.
I mean, the good news about Binnington, if he were ever to come here, is no other player would ever get spoken about.
Yes, that's true.
Good,
You want to
bad.
take the noise off everybody else. Your Binnington would be the guy.
Good, bad, ugly. People would forget Matthews plays here. Like, maybe they should keep Marner.
You wouldn't even know.
Block out the noise.
You
There
wouldn't be
won't
aware.
any.
You'd be watching the goalie the whole
No,
time.
that is a white noise machine right there. He blocks it all.
They actually have in St. Louis one of the best, I think, when you think about goalie situations that you can have like, I have my number one starter and he's gonna be paid $9 million. We know that's the number one. You could have the tandems that are like 1-2. I think what they have in St. Louis is my favorite goalie situation where you have your number one, but then you have the young guy who's probably gonna be the number one in like 2 years.
I think it's very funny that Team Canada has both Binnington
Yeah.
and Hoffer.
So they have Hoffer there, and I think like you ride out Binnington, but then you're paying Hoffer less than $1 million because he's on his ELC, and then he just takes the job eventually. And that's kind of like, as a GM, you want to be in that position with your goaltending.
Look at Boston. All right, we got Allmark. There's a Swayman kid. And last year, whoa, he's pretty good. And this year, it's like, all right, no, that's his net. We'll trade him.
Yeah,
we'll trade Allmark. It's fine. And that's the way it's going to be. But huge congrats to Team Austria and all their fans.
unbelievable.
They get. I don't know what the table looks like. I've been too focused on the Stanley Cup playoffs. But that's, I believe, a point in the standings and a huge one for Austria, because I mean, you look at that game and you probably assume you're not getting a point.
It's their only point of the tournament so far in 3 games played. They sit 7th in Group A, just above Great Britain, who has no points.
In
So-
2 games.
In 2 games, yeah. So they're a game behind the rest of the table. Norway's got 4 games played, but Canada still sits atop the standings, which is good. But they're tied. It's not like it's a runaway tournament right now for Canada.
Well, Canada lost a point.
Yeah, because overtime wins are less points than a regulation win. Yes.
Wow.
Gotta love
so they're-
international play.
Through 3 games, they're tied with Switzerland, which is probably
Yeah.
not a position anyone. I mean, dude, look at that friggin' group. Canada, Switzerland. Switzerland is good. You'd probably put Canada a tier up. Then there's Finland and Czech Republic, which I would say are like perennially in the elite group. And then it's Norway, Denmark, Austria, and Great Britain.
The biggest shock for me right now is in Group B. The USA has really struggled, going 1-1-1. That's 1 regulation win, 1 overtime loss, and 1 loss.
That
And they only have-
Slovakia game was really nasty.
they only got 4 points so far on their table, and they sit 4th in Group B, which isn't what I expected at all. But these World Championships are always kind of iffy because you never know which guys are going to go.
Well-
It's not really the look ahead to the Olympics because you're not really sure like how many guys you're going to get from the full team that's going to go to Paris. And where's the Winter Olympics? Paris is summer.
Isn't it Italy?
Yeah,
Italy. Yeah,
it's
Italy.
Milan.
Next time. Yeah.
Well, and I mean, you got like an undefeated Latvian team, and Germany is in 7th out of 8, below Kazakhstan and
That's
France.
sorry.
Like,
That's a Latvian team without Archer Shvilov.
that's right. That is right.
That's a Germany team without Leon Draisaitl.
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh, you know.
Yeah, no, they don't always have all their best players, but no, it's unreal. For can you do you have the list of goal scorers?
Yeah,
there.
I can tell you.
'Cause I just want to go through the names.
You want to know who's?
I just want to know if I recognize any of them. I'm not gonna lie. Like, so we had a group chat going. It was the CJ Show group chat, and we had the advanced stats that were posted on the broadcast for I think the first period, and we were laughing because Austria had 23 seconds of offensive zone time.
Wow. Unbelievable. And they
and-
show advanced stats, by the way. And
yeah.
it's just cool.
And someone went, "Wait, it's 6-2," and someone goes, "No, it's 6-4," and then the group chat updated to, "It's tied." And I immediately, like, I was trying to get Isla to sleep, but I was like, I'm turning on hockey at 3 PM.
Why not?
Yeah,
So-
and I watched it.
Third period scoring is Benjamin Baumgartner, Peter Schneider, Dominic Zwerger, Peter Schneider again, and Marco Rossi.
Outside of Marco Rossi, I recognize 0 of those names.
Wow.
There you go.
0 of those names. Yeah, man. Like,
Showing your North American bias.
yeah, I know Bennington's catching shit. I don't know if any.
I don't think he is. I'm,
I just gave him shit.
yeah.
No, he's catching shit. But like,
I think that's it's not great.
Colton Parayko looked upset. Did you see Caden Gooley accepting player of the game?
Just like kind of like unresponsive.
Yeah, instead
unemotional.
of, I was about to say it looked like he lost the gold medal game. It's more like he looked like he was being extradited.
Right.
Actually, we're kicking you out of the tournament. You have to go home. Like it just looked really. No one won that game.
No,
And if we had to pick a winner,
It's
it would be Austria.
you got to be disappointed for Canada for doing that. 6-1. Never. You should never lose that lead. It's ridiculous.
No,
You
like,
shouldn't even lose
forget
that.
that it's Austria.
Yeah, like if this is 2 NHL teams, if this is Tampa and Florida playing, neither team should lose a 6-1 lead.
Like, how many thousands of games were played in the NHL this year? A 5-goal lead was erased once.
By the Leafs.
It was the Leafs erasing it. I think it was against Columbus.
Yes, Columbus. And then they
And
lost.
then Columbus won.
They lost in overtime, yeah.
So erasing a 5-goal lead, think twice. It's the kiss of death.